Countless yarns have been spun in the build up to this series, as you'd imagine, in the lead up to a series as high profile as this one. But the time for talk is over. The Border Gavaskar Trophy is right upon us. It's all going to be about what happens on the 22 yards from this point on. Pat Cummins has had a great start to his captaincy, and he's done the thing that's most important for most visiting captains to do when they reach India. He's won the toss. Australia will bat first in the first test against India in Nagpur. Welcome to our build-up to the first test on match day. Delighted to be joined by Ian Chappell and Aakash Chopra, who comes back on this platform after some time. Great to have you for company, gentlemen. Test match morning, nothing quite like the buzz of it. Chappelli, half the job done, considering all the talk about the pitch, considering Australia do get to take first strike here?
No, you win the toss. What you've got to do is play well. Doesn't matter whether you bat or you bowl first. You've just got to play well. And I'm not one of those who adheres to the fact that if you've won the toss, you've done half the job. That's not even part of the job. Playing well is. I think I'm surprised at some of the selections, but also there's been a braveness about some of the selections. I mean, Todd Murphy for Australia, that is a very brave selection. Obviously, he must have really impressed. But the thing that I am interested in is that they haven't been swayed into the left and right hand or left and right arm combination. So that was brave. And India, on the other hand, Suryakumar, his selection is also a brave one, because I think the idea of counter-attacking, particularly from the middle order, is a good one. And they've gone for Bharat, the wicketkeeper, and in Ravi's view, he is the better keeper. So I think some brave selections. Hanscom coming in, that doesn't surprise me. But what does surprise me is they've left Head out. So a shock there from Australia.
Yes, Chappelli's teed up the lineups here. There are three debutants across the two teams. That's Australia's playing 11, Warner Quadra to open, Labuschagne, Stephen Smith, Matt Renshaw and Peter Hanscom in the middle order. No Travis Head, Alex Carey to keep. Pat Cummins is captain, Scott Boland the second pacer. Todd Murphy joins Nathan Lyon. Another off-spinner, 22-year-old, will make his test debut, having played 7 first-class games so far. For India, there are debuts for K.S. Bharat, who has been substitute keeper once in the absence of Rishabh Pant, but will feature in the playing 11 for the first time. Also a debut and a big talking point that had been teed up in our pre-series conversation, that Suryakumar Yadav will take that number 5 slot. No room for Shubman Gill, despite all his runs in the last couple of months. Before we get to the team combination, Aakash, I just want to get a quick word out of you. There was so much talk about the pitch. Having seen whatever we've seen so far in the first half, seen the pitch report, how do you think this pitch will actually play out, Aakash?
Personally, I feel it's a 3.5-day kind of test match pitch. If we get play on the 4th day and the 5th day, wow, that's bonus. So the ball is going to spin. The batting, of course, against spin is going to be tough. And don't discount the fast bowlers on a surface that's extremely dry, that's got cracks. It's a red soil pitch, is what I've understood, and a red soil pitch tends to disintegrate quite quickly. If it were a black soil pitch, you would find it getting slower as the match progresses and the bounce gets lower. But when you are playing on a red soil surface, yes, eventually every pitch slows down a little, but there will be bounce, there will be bite. And what surprises me a little is when you look at the two teams' combinations, you see 5 bowlers for India, proper 5 bowlers for India, and you see Australia with only 2 spinners, 2 frontline spinners. There's no Ashanega, there is no Swepson, there is Todd Murphy who's making his debut, and there is Nathan Lyon. 2 fast bowlers, plenty of part-timers. Part-timers in theory sound very, very good, that you have plenty of options to go to, but test match is a beast where you'll find partnerships, where you'll find the need to be consistent, patient, and pick wickets. So that is where your proper bowlers come into the fray. So I feel Australia, yes, winning the toss is an advantage. Agree with Ian that it's not even half the job done. You have to start batting well, but then also play a bowling unit that can give you 20 wickets. I don't think Australia has actually backed, or rather gone in that direction, which might just come back to bite them.
All right, let's go through those selection decisions then. KS Bharat, we've known for a while, is going to be debuting. From the India front, the big talking point, of course, is Surya Kumar Yadav. After a year where he's dominated T20s, gets his Test debut. He has, of course, played nearly 80 first-class games, has a solid record. Chappell, you were quite firm in backing the pros of going with Surya Kumar Yadav. Are you pleased to see India go ahead with that decision, which is a braver decision?
Yeah, I think it's brave because he's a counter-attacking player, and I've seen counter-attacking players have success in the middle order and change Test matches. So, yes, he's a brave selection, but like everybody else, he's got to play well. The surprise for me with Australia, yeah, I thought that Renshaw would probably play, but I didn't think Head would get dropped. Now, the selection of Renshaw seems to suggest that they're going to give him a bit of a bowl as a medium pacer. Now, he does a bit of bowling in T20 cricket, has not bowled very much in the longer version of the game. So that'll be interesting. But also, they've forfeited Head's off-spin bowling. So maybe the feeling was, with two off-spinners already there, we don't need a third one. But Head has done a lot more red ball bowling than Renshaw. So if that was part of the selection thinking, it's a bit of a gamble.
Akash, what do you think about Travis Head not being in this 11? He has been one of their better batters, but if you compare the numbers in those series in Pakistan and Sri Lanka, Travis Head didn't have the best of times. So, are you agreeing with Australia's decision here?
Well, yes, I will, because if we are going to go by numbers in Australia, or rather in Pakistan, India, then David Warner's numbers are quite middling. Yes, that could be the elephant in the room that nobody wants to discuss. But you go with pedigree, you go with someone who you think is going to score runs, and go in that direction. So Travis said has scored runs and has bowled more. His kind of bowling also perhaps will suit these conditions a lot better. But Matt Renshaw, he's been to India once. He's got a decent technique against spin, but he'll be batting low down the order. Last time when he came, I remember he was actually batting top of the order. So if that's going to change, there will be a bit more spin. Actually, spin is going to start from in the first hour of the game, maybe half hour of the game. So there is going to be examination with spin. But Travis said would have been a better choice. But having said all that, playing five bowlers, get your bowlers, I think, bowling unit in order is what I personally feel, because team selections tend to give you a quite fair indication of what the team is thinking, and that is where you look at the Australian team and you see four proper bowlers with a lot of part timers, and personally. It doesn't really sit very nicely with me, out of which one is a debutant in a 19-year-old Todd Murphy. I hope he does well. But then two fast bowlers and a lot of part-time options, whether it's Matt Renshaw or Manas Labuschagne. They'll give you a lot of part-time options, but are they good enough?
We will see in probably not 5 days, as not most of us expect this game to go into 5 days. But one of those big moves in Australia's bowling lineup, of course, as Akash mentioned, is Todd Murphy. Now he's only 22. You'll have a lot of people twiddling their thumbs and trying to find out now who is Todd Murphy, what has he done. They say they're calling him the next big thing. We spoke to Steve O'Keefe, who incidentally was the hero of Australia's last Test win in India in Pune back in 2017, and he has the highest praise. Let's listen into what he said about Todd Murphy.
Todd Murphy, someone you've spent time with around the Sydney Sixers camp. What's been your initial impression of him as a bowler? And if he was thrown into Test cricket, do you think he'd be okay?
I don't use this term lightly, but I think he's going to be a superstar. And I said that about Steve Smith in 2010 when I lived with him. You just knew there was something special. And the reason I say that is he's got the ability to go up the back of the ball, which means that he can bowl overspin. He's exactly what Nathan Lyon does, but he's also got a lot of tricks to his armour. He can bowl square seam, which is important over there, which is side spin. It goes quicker through the air, and if it bites, it spins sharply. Not only that, he's a sponge. When I chat to Todd Murphy, I don't realise he's a 22-year-old. He knows as much about cricket and I'm 38 as what I do at 38 at 22 years of age. So I think he's got a great armoury of skills. He's got a lot of confidence, and I think his best ball is good enough to challenge any batter in the world. So I wouldn't be surprised at some stage in this series if Australia did play 2 off spinners. I think they will go with Ashton Agar, given that there'll be a lot of right-handers, but don't be surprised to see Todd Murphy partner Nathan Lyon at some stage during this Indian series.
Chappell, that's high praise coming in for a young off spinner. Just to get our viewers in terms of his numbers, he's played 7 first-class games so far, averages 25, 29 wickets, and a strong record against right-handers. India's batting lineup is quite right-hand heavy. Murphy, in his nascent stage of his first-class career, averages 27 against right-handed batters. Chappell, what do you think will be the challenge for a new spinner bowling in India, bowling in conditions that he's not used to?
Well, for a start, I think there's way too much made of bowling to right-handers and left-handers. I mean, a lot of people talking about how Ashwin is great against left-handers. Well, he's a off spinner. He's going to bowl, and he's a very good off spinner. He's going to bowl well to everybody. Todd Murphy's got to bowl well to everybody. That's high praise coming from Stephen O'Keefe. Now, he's done all of that against first-class players, and therein lies the interesting fact, because Todd Murphy is playing not against test players in first-class cricket. He's playing against other first-class cricketers. Now, it's fine to have all those attributes, and they're the sort of things that you want to see in Test cricket, although I didn't hear him talk about curving the ball away from right-handers. I'm assuming he can do that. I don't think Nathan Lyon, well, he doesn't do it, hasn't done it over a long time, so therefore you've got to assume that he struggles to do it. But the thing for Todd Murphy is how well he bowls to test players, and do test players let him settle? So if you're a right-hand batsman, you shouldn't be worried about facing an off-spin bowler. You shouldn't be worried about facing any spin bowler. If you play spin well, then you can negate the spinners. But the thing that I like about Murphy's selection is that the Australian selectors have been brave, and they must feel that he can bowl well to test players as well as bowling decently to Sheffield Shield cricketers.
Right. Aakash, a couple of India selection questions to you then. Didn't get to speak to you about Surya Kumar Yadav. He does get his test debut. What do you make of the call? Would you have had Shubman Gill in this 11 given the form? Are you happy to see Surya Kumar Yadav potentially playing the role of enforcer at number 5?
Obviously, it's the absence of Pant that might have just played India's hand. But here I also would like to mention Sarfaraz Khan. Sarfaraz Khan, the amount of the plethora of runs, the mountain of runs that he scored, he should have been in the squad. And if he was in the squad, he should have walked right in at number 5, because guy has scored 12 first-class centuries in the last 3 years, got two triple centuries, 4 double centuries. I mean, that's all you can do as a batter to deserve a place, merit a place in the playing 11, or at least in the test squad. And if an opening arrives, of course, you walk in. But he's not there, so can't really go down that route. So it was a toss-up between Surya Kumar Yadav and Shubman Gill. There was a temptation that you go with Shubman Gill at 5, but if you're going to play somebody at 5 and you're thinking, okay, let's have an aggressor, a bit of a disruptor in the middle order, your options were quite simple. You play Ishan Kishan and you play Shubman Gill. You play KS Bharat and you play Surya Kumar Yadav. And we've seen this Indian team under Rohit and Rahul Dravid, that they've gone with a lot of these head-to-head matchups and certain kind of philosophies. So I think keeper picks himself on this surface in a test match. Pick a better keeper, and KS Bharat is the best wicket keeper in the country at this point in time, as far as the glove work is concerned. So Surya Kumar Yadav had to bat at 5. I mean, you can't have Shubman Gill, another guy. So there is Pujara at 3, who's going to play the way he does. Then there is Virat Kohli, and at 5 you can't also once again have Shubman Gill, who will be new at that position, and he's not an aggressor against the spin bowling as much as say somebody like Surya Kumar Yadav could be. It's a choice that the team has made in the absence of Sarfaraz Khan, is what I'd say.
Quick word on the other choice India had to make, Akash. Akshar Patel versus Kuldeep Yadav was your only choice as such, as that third spinner, given Kuldeep Yadav's impressive form in the last couple of months. Happy to see India go with Akshar over Kuldeep?
I think it tells us what's the kind of surface that has been dished out, or rather, what India is expecting out of that surface. Because if you're playing on a surface that's slightly slower in nature, if it was a black soil surface, I would have gone with Kuldeep Yadav, because he brings a lot more variety. He's actually the spinner who will deceive you in the air with the flight and the dip. And the drift. He is going to ask you tougher questions with regards to just the quality of skill against spin, batting skill against spin. But when you saw the surface at Nagpur with a rough, even before a ball is bowled outside the left-handers of stump, Akshar Patel, on these surfaces you bowl quicker. Quicker ball should be your go-to, rather stock ball, and that's what Akshar does. He'll keep bowling there and allow the spin, or allow the pitch to do everything else. So I think that is where this decision, this choice, actually tilted in favor of Akshar and not Kuldeep Yadav. And to be honest, I'm okay with it. They should have played Kuldeep in Bangladesh, the second Test match, but here I think Akshar tipping him to the post is not surprising.
Yeah, and considering what Akshar Patel's done the last few times he's played home tests, makes sense to bowl a guy who averages less than 15 in tests. Chappell, just a quick word. Most things good for Australia. They've won the toss, which is important. They've fielded a brave team, like you said. What for you is the kind of score that will be a good score and put them in good position in this first test?
350 was always the score that I had in mind, and I don't change my feelings for this test match. Just a point on Akshar Patel's selection. Australia have had their problems in the past with left-arm orthodox spinners, so that could also have played into the selection of Patel ahead of Kuldeep.
Right. Akash, 350, huge total on given everything we're expecting.
350, it could be an encore of what happened in Pune. Because 350 on this surface will actually throw the cat amongst the pigeons. I mean, properly. So if they get that far, actually Australia's batting lineup, when you see the depth that they've gone with, that is what they're thinking, that let's put runs on the board. Somehow find batting lineup that can actually last 110 overs. So they do have batting till like Pat Cummins. Nathan Lyon can also just throw the bat around a little, but this is like a proper longish batting lineup with Peter Hanscom and Alex Carey at 6 and 7 respectively. So 350, I'm not looking at 350. I actually am looking at 225. If they score 225, I think we have a fantastic contest on our hands.
And just to tell our viewers what the reference of Pune was, that time, Pune 2017, Australia scored 260 batting first, and it's a test match they went on to win by 333 runs. Let's see whether that happens this time or not. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning, afternoon for you, Chappell. We do look forward to your company. Aakash and Ian will be back with us at the end of day's play. However it pans out, time for talk is over. The players are just walking onto the field. The Border Gavaskar Trophy is here. Let's see how the action unfolds. Be sure to join us later in the day. Thank you.